If you've ever sat in a car at night in Lagos and felt like someone was in the passenger seat with you, this story might explain why. At exactly 3:13 a.m., a black G-Wagon with custom plates SLAY-01 sits idling outside a abandoned warehouse in Naija. Inside, the engine is off, but the hazard lights flash like a dying heartbeat. The driver's seat is soaked with blood, and witnesses said they could still hear chewing sounds and a girl whispering, Bestie, I'm hungry. Before I continue, if you enjoy real African horror stories that feel too real, hit the subscribe button now. Because some of these stories don't just stay in videos, they follow people home. This is the story of how Chimanda or Chima or Keke used her best friend as fuel for luxury cars, and how that friend came back very hungry. Chima and Ngozi met in SS2 at Federal Government Girls College, Owerri. They were the kind of friends who finished each other's sentences and shared one plate of okpa during break. Ngozi was the quiet, church-going one with the gentle voice and the perfect jam score. Chima was fire, loud laugh, sharp tongue, the girl who could make a teacher cry with one sentence. They called themselves twin flames, blood sisters without blood. When they both failed to get admission into Unilag the first time, Ngozi said, "We'll try again next year, sis. God has a plan." Chima looked at her with eyes already burning with city hunger and replied, "God is too slow, Ngozi. I'm not spending my youth in this village. I want the life we see on Instagram, the real one." That was the seed. 2 years later, they finally made it to Lagos together. 2 village girls with 1 suitcase and 47,000 naira combined. They rented a Face Me, I Face You room in Surulere. During the day, they hustled as sales girls in a boutique on Balogun Market. At night, Chima dragged Ngozi to clubs in VI, dressing her up, teaching her how to pose. "We have to be seen, babe. Soft life doesn't come to shy girls." Ngozi hated it. The smoke, the men grabbing waists, the way Chima laughed too high at their dirty jokes. But she went anyway, because that was what sisters did. The first luxury car arrived 6 months later, a white Camry. Chima told Ngozi she got it from a family friend. She didn't say the family friend was 58 years old and married, or that she had spent 3 weekends in his hotel to earn the down payment. Ngozi celebrated with her anyway. They took selfies inside the car, captions reading, "God is faithful," #twin flames, #Lagos girls. But Chima wanted more. Always more. She started disappearing at night, coming back with new iPhones, human hair that cost 500,000 naira, and a new confidence that felt sharp, like a blade wearing lipstick. One evening, she returned with a brand new Range Rover Sport, matte black, custom rims that sparkled like black diamonds. Ngozi was stunned. "Chima, how?" Chima smiled that too bright smile. "I met someone, a powerful man. He says he can change our lives, both of us, but we have to do one small thing." Ngozi's stomach twisted. "What thing?" "A prayer," Chima lied easily. "Just a night vigil at a special place. He has a prophet, very anointed." 3 nights later, they drove to a forest shrine past Epe. The air smelled of wet leaves and fresh blood. A small man in red beads waited under a giant Iroko tree. Around him, 7 black candles burned with green flames. In the center was a wide brass bowl filled with dark liquid. The prophet didn't waste words. One of you must give, the other will receive. The car you want is not ordinary. It runs more than fuel. Chima stepped forward before Ngozi could speak. I'll do anything. But the prophet pointed at Ngozi. No, the giver must be the pure one, the innocent. The sister's heart must be offered willingly or taken. Ngozi tried to run. Chima grabbed her arm, tears streaming down her face. Ngozi, please, this is our only chance. I've suffered too much. Remember when we slept on the floor in Surulere and cried? Remember how men used to harass us? This is our escape. I'll take care of you forever. I swear on my life. Ngozi was crying too. Chima, you're scaring me. Let's go home. But Chima had already made her choice weeks earlier. She nodded to the prophet. What happened next is where this story stops being just a story. The prophet chanted in a language that made the trees bend. He forced Ngozi to her knees and cut her palm, squeezing her blood into the brass bowl. Then he asked Chima to drink from it. Chima did, gulping like it was wine. When Ngozi screamed, Chima covered her mouth and whispered, "It's almost over, Bestie. Just sleep. When you wake up, we'll both be queens." Ngozi didn't wake up. Her body was buried under the Iroko tree. Chima drove the new Range Rover home alone that night, windows down, music loud, singing along like nothing happened. She posted a carousel on Instagram, new whip alert, thank you Jesus, hard work pays, #slay queen, #bestie goals. She tagged Ngozi's account, the account that would never post again. For 2 full years, Chima lived the dream she had murdered for. She upgraded to a duplex in Lagos Phase 1, then a full mansion in Ikoyi with a fountain that glowed purple at night. The cars multiplied, the matte black Range Rover, a white Cullinan, a Lamborghini Urus in baby pink. She became an influencer with 1.8 million followers, brand ambassadorships, trips to Maldives, private jets. She even started a foundation in Ngozi's name, the Ngozi Angel Fund for Girls' Education. People called her humble, kind, a real queen. But every single night at 3:13 a.m., she woke up choking on the taste of blood. At first, it was small things. Her reflection in the rearview mirror would smile 1 second later. The new cars would sometimes smell like wet earth and rot, no matter how many times they were washed. She changed mechanics 3 times. Then she stopped driving herself. One night, while shooting content in her walk-in closet, the camera caught something moving behind her Balenciaga bags. She played the footage back. It was Ngozi standing there in the exact white dress she wore the night she died, staring straight at the camera with hollow eyes. The clip went viral as a glitch. Chima laughed it off in the comments. My camera acting possessed. Who else experiences this? She started dating a music executive. Fine boy, generous. On their third date, in the back of the Cullinan, he asked her about her best friend. Chima froze. She's abroad studying. That same night, the executive woke up screaming. Something had bitten his shoulder while he slept. Teeth marks shaped like a girl's jaw. He broke up with Chima the next morning and never spoke to her again. The hunger began in earnest on the anniversary of Ngozi's death. Chima was hosting a lavish birthday party, red carpet, celebrities, a live band. At exactly 3:13 a.m., while she was cutting her 5-tier cake, all the lights went out. When they came back on, all the guests were gone. Only Chima remained standing in a pool of red liquid that wasn't punch. Her phone started receiving videos from Ngozi's old number. The first one showed Ngozi sitting in the passenger seat of the matte black Range Rover, smiling exactly like she used to. Bestie, I'm cold. Can I come inside? Chima deleted it with shaking hands. The second video came while she was in the shower. Ngozi was in the back seat this time, closer, skin pale and wet, like she had just crawled out of the ground. "You promised we would both be queens. Why did you leave me under the tree?" Chima smashed the phone. But the next morning, a new iPhone was waiting on her pillow, already playing the third video. Ngozi's face filled the screen, maggots crawling in and out of her cheeks. "I'm hungry, Chima. You took everything. Now I want my share." That was when the real horror began. Chima tried to run. She flew to Dubai. The videos followed on every device. She changed numbers. The calls came anyway. She hired pastors, native doctors, imams, anyone who claimed power. They all lasted one night. One native doctor was found the next morning inside the Lamborghini, his tongue missing, replaced with a single white flower from the Iroko tree. The cars themselves turned against her. One evening, the pink Urus locked her inside while she was driving along Third Mainland Bridge. The radio started playing Ngozi's favorite worship song on repeat. The temperature dropped until frost covered the windows. Chima screamed as invisible hands, small, soft, familiar, grabbed her throat from the back seat. She crashed into the railing. The car was barely scratched. She survived with a broken wrist. But the hunger grew. Ngozi started appearing in her mirrors, not just reflecting, stepping out. First, it was just an arm reaching for her weave, then a full torso hugging her behind while she applied makeup, whispering, "Remember when we used to share clothes? Now I have nothing to wear, but your skin looks warm." Chima's body began changing. Her perfect skin developed cold patches that never warmed up. Her laughter became hollow. She started eating raw meat just to feel something. Her followers noticed she was losing weight dramatically. Slay Queen doing the Ozempic challenge emoji. They didn't know she was vomiting live worms every morning. The final month was pure torment. Chima locked herself inside the Ikoyi mansion. All the cars were parked in the compound like silent judges. She hired armed guards. They disappeared one by one. The CCTV showed them talking to a girl in a white dress before walking calmly into the shadows. On the last night, the power went out again. This time, it never came back. Chima sat in the middle of her massive living room, surrounded by designer bags she no longer cared about. The air grew thick with the smell of fresh soil. Footsteps, wet, squelching, approached from the hallway. Ngozi stepped into the moonlight coming through the floor-to-ceiling windows. She looked almost exactly as Chima remembered. Beautiful, gentle smile. Except her eyes were completely black and her teeth were too long. Soil fell from her hair with every step. Her white dress was stained with 2 years of grave debt. "Bestie," Ngozi said softly. Her voice was the same. That was the worst part. "I missed you." Chima crawled backwards until her back hit the grand piano. "I'm sorry, I'll give everything back. The cars, the house, the money. Just leave me alone." Ngozi tilted her head the way she used to when they shared secrets. "But you already gave me to the cars. Now the cars want more. They are still hungry. And I'm their driver now." She extended her hand. It was ice cold. Chima screamed as Ngozi's fingers sank into her chest, not cutting, but sinking like hands into warm clay. She felt her heart being gently pulled, not out, just shared. "I'm not going to kill you," Ngozi whispered, leaning close enough for Chima to smell the earth on her breath. I'm going to ride with you every single day, in every single car. You will drive luxury, you will smile for the cameras, and every night at 3:13, I will sit in the passenger seat and eat a little piece of you until there's nothing left but the girl who betrayed her sister. The next morning, neighbors saw Chima driving the matte black Range Rover out of the compound. She was smiling, perfect makeup, designer outfit, waving to fans who recorded her. But if you looked closely at the passenger seat, you could see the imprint of a second person. And if you followed the car long enough, you would notice something disturbing. Sometimes, the Range Rover drove itself. Sometimes, Chima's mouth moved even when she wasn't speaking. And sometimes, late at night, people filming her at red lights caught a second voice singing along to the music. A gentle, familiar voice saying, "Bestie, drive faster, I'm still hungry." Chima is still out there today, still posting, still slaying, still buying new cars every few months. Because the hunger never ends. And if you ever see a slay queen in a luxury car smiling too brightly at 3:13 a.m., check the passenger seat. You might see your own best friend standing back, waiting for her turn to ride. If you're a girl in the city chasing soft life, remember this. Some luxury comes with back seats that are never empty. And some best friends never really leave, especially when they're hungry. So next time you see a slay queen smiling in traffic, don't admire the car. Check the passenger seat. Or better yet, don't. If this story made you uncomfortable, good. That means you were paying attention. Subscribe, because the next story might be worse.